All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining our webinar, The Present and Future Marketing for Generator Dealers. So what we're going to talk about today, and this is for generator dealers specifically, but everything I'm going to show you today can be applied to your electrical services, anybody that's doing any kind of HVAC services, things like that. Ideally, primarily what we're doing is we're getting your local service business attracting in your market to build your lead flow and be consistent with lead flow. This is like one of the biggest, most important things that you can be focusing on right now. So I'm going to try to unpack everything from floor to ceiling on marketing and how to get your website up and running, how to do your social ads and beyond. But mostly what we're talking about is the present and future. A lot of what used to work back in the day, and you guys are been around a long time. You know that a lot has changed, and what used to work then doesn't work now. So it's safe to assume that what works now may not work in the future. So we've got our finger on the pulse with that, and we're going to be able to show you everything that you can be doing. So without further ado, good morning, and let's get started. What we're going to cover today, the biggest changes and shifts in the marketing landscape, how to remain on the cutting edge. So we are, as a marketing agency ourselves, we are always making sure that we are seeding the vision and trying to stay on top of what's growing, especially in the market of generators, where the homeowners are thinking, where they're at, what drives them. The accelerated growth model, this kind of simplifies everything that you need to be doing on a regular basis, and I'm going to unpack the whole thing for you. The 7 marketing channels that you must be tapping into in order to maximize your lead flow, build consistency for your lead flow, and 5 lead conversion leaks that are slowing your growth and killing your ROI. So there are some things that you could potentially still be doing that may be hurting you more than helping you. And finally, how to become the best known generator dealer in your market. I mean, this is all brand development, right? So it's not all about lead flow. It's about your brand development. It's about getting above your competition on the local search, in the local pack, in the search engine results page, and kind of getting yourself out there and everywhere. So real quick, a little bit about us and me. I'm John Tedesco. I'm the CEO and owner of PowerSource, and currently our mission is to help 100 generator dealers double, if not triple, their revenue through 2025. We handle everything from custom web design all the way to pay-per-click campaigns. We're running full programs that include and encompass everything that you're going to learn here today. And who am I and why should you listen to me? So I have 17 plus years experience in internet marketing. I built a $1 million generalist agency. And, in the last year since we've niched down into the generator dealer industry, we've spoken to a lot of generator dealers. I've spoken to at least 100 generator dealers in the last year across the nation. And, everybody's got similar issues. Everybody does it differently. So I think if we just kind of make everything consistent, if we're doing all the same things, then we can really figure out what the real secret recipe is and what those hot buttons are to try to make sure that you are the top competitor in your market. I've worked directly with more than 50 generator dealers across the country. I've spoken at mastermind cohort events for successful electrical contractors. I have a specialized agency for generator dealers, that's PowerSource, and I work closely with a large agency cohort that each has their own specialties, and we're always sharing our experiences, what's working, what's not. We're getting into AI. We have a specialist that does specifically with AI, so we're working with AI in chat and beyond. So there's definitely a lot more that we're going to be unpacking as the months come out, as the years roll out. So these webinars will be different every time. I don't have a direct relationship with any of these brands. I do have an extensive knowledge of Kohler's Co-op, Generac, PowerPlay, and some of these other brands that provide any kind of marketing assistance for any of you guys. We have some knowledge of how they operate and where we can take advantage, things like that. I am going to be doing a webinar in the future to try to help maximize those co-op dollars and figure out, what's the best play for all of that, because sometimes it's confusing. Sometimes they don't give you all the information, and sometimes it's slow. One of the bigger issues is that Generac, for example, they have their microsites and you guys have PowerPlay and you get a lot of great leads during a really long set of time. And then you do lose lose those leads after a while and they stop coming in or they slow down, that kind of thing. So this is just a little bit of part of what we're trying to focus on, right? We want to get you out of somebody else's lead flow and funnel and help you build your own funnel, or teach you and give you the information on how to build your own funnel. So why? So why do we want to get into this? So marketing will make or break your business. I mean, you guys can have all the equipment, you have all the technicians, you have all the trucks and the whole fleet and everything, but you could have the best CSR team, but if you don't have your marketing dialed in, if your phone's not ringing, then there's a problem. And you've all been there. You've had times where the phone was ringing, you have times where the phone is ringing. So the idea is to make that lead flow consistent on a regular basis, so that, and even have some dials that you can turn up, in case things do get slow. You can turn these dials up on Google Ads or social media ads and things like that, and know exactly what you're doing. So have all this stuff in place so that you can turn these dials up and down as you need to. You make a major investment in marketing. So this is really important to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck. Having trucks parked outside and an empty schedule is not good. And really what ends up happening is that you just fail and you don't generate enough leads on a regular basis. You're relying on other people to get these leads in. You really don't know what's happening. You decide to throw $2,000 or $3,000 into a Google Ads campaign and nothing really happens. And you really don't know why. You don't know what comes of it, so there's a lot that needs to be done. So the idea is to really just nail your marketing, consistently convert visitors to callers and leads, have a full schedule with new installation jobs, build some momentum, have some consistent growth, and in the end, you have success, right? You get the phones ringing, your trucks are out running, business is booming, and things are really moving and jiving. So right when we get started, I sent you guys a link. If you want to download the workbook, it really does help. You can print it out. You can take notes. You can we're going to do like a little assessment on where you guys are feeling that you are in the whole gamut of marketing and our growth model. So if you want to take a second and grab that download, maybe print it out. You can also just use a notebook too. That's not going to make that big of a difference, but this could be a really good tool for you guys to kind of keep on your desk. Write through it once in a while. Make sure that you're kind of hitting these links and hitting the points rather. And, you decide the priority of where you can focus some of your time and energy. I know you guys are busy. So, if you want to put some time and energy into your website or some SEO or run some ads, do some social media and kind of start building and scaling your own marketing strategy, that's kind of what this is for. Okay, so our growth model. Okay, this is our accelerated growth model, and this is a three-piece wheel. I don't have like a drawing board, so I'm not going to write this in. So I have all my pieces put in here. But you have a page in this workbook, and if you wanted to pull out this workbook and open up to this page and see, so page 3, you can actually write these in as I do it. So writing things down. So as you're writing things down, they kind of stick to your head because you're unable to think about other things when you're actually writing things down. This helps me remember stuff. So if you write it down while I'm saying it, it could really maybe stick and you'll remember to kind of work on this stuff or remember to think about it, right? So awareness perceives action. So let's start going through it. So our first aspect of accelerated growth model is to drive leads. Okay, so there are 3 different ways we can drive leads. Drive leads. And the second piece is maximizing conversion. So we get all these people in the door, and then we want to make sure that we are doing everything we can to give them everything they want and what they're looking for, to get them to call, to get them to fill out the form, to get them to go into chat. There's a very tight window from them seeing you to contacting you. And we need to make sure that is as optimized as possible. And then finally, optimizing results, right? So what's working, what's not working? Does this metric all make sense? Are the leads coming in from the right channels? What channels are doing the best? Once you've got driving leads to maximizing conversion, then optimizing these results are key to where you're actually going to end up spending your money. So back to driving leads, we have organic SEO. So this is building your website. This is building your foundation, making sure that you got a really great website dialed in. I'm going to go through all of that in this presentation, and I'm going to show you some great examples. I'm going to give you some tips and insights on what converts. But that's organic SEO. A little bit of paid search. So this is where you put some money forward on some ads. You have people doing research, or not research, but actually looking because it's the time to look, or they have a power outage and they're kind of desperate, or it's a week later and they remember how bad that power outage was, and now they just want to get a generator. So you're going to search, see your ad, and click into it. Also includes local service ads. We'll touch on that too. And then working with your database. So you have a very immense list of customers that you can get in front of to help get referrals, get reviews from them, make sure that you got service contracts on them. This is a captive audience, and it's your responsibility to reach out to these people on a regular basis. Make sure that you're staying top of mind. They'd be out at a party, somebody talking about generators or whatever, and if they're not thinking about it, they're not going to say anything. But if you're sending an email every 1 or 2 months, it's going to be on the top of their mind, and they're going to remember, and maybe say something. So that's the point of email marketing. So I would highly recommend it. Those are 3 primary pieces that you want to focus on that help drive leads. Now, one thing that you could do is you could create this little traffic light symbol over each one of those. So organic SEO, paid search, database. Where do you guys fall? Like, how do you feel you're doing in each one of these aspects? So for organic SEO, is your website really dialed in? Are you doing a great job on your website? Put a green there. Paid search, are you running Google ads? If you're not, this would be a little red. Or maybe you've run ads in the past. Maybe you got local service ads running, just put a yellow or something like that in a database. Are you doing any email marketing? It's typically a red, so I would, just go through that. And then at the very end, we're going to have all these colors around the edges, and you're going to see where you need to really put the work in. So now maximizing conversion. So we want to focus effort on the website. Okay. Make sure that when somebody visits your website, it's clean, it's concise, it's direct to the point. You're talking to the buyer, you're talking to the potential customer, and you're giving them everything they're looking for. What are they looking for? They're looking for, what does it cost? How long does it take? Are you going to come out and give me a quote for free? What are all the things that I need to do in order to get this generator installed? So maybe having all that stuff on your website, on the homepage, or whatever page that they're finding you on, is the best way to convert them. So if you're answering those questions quickly, 2-3 seconds, you're going to get them to convert. They're going to call you, they're going to fill out the form, or they're going to chat. Whatever way that you have for them to reach out, that's how they're going to do it. And we want to make sure that the website's all dialed in so that you can maximize your conversion. After they visit the website and they like you and they see that you do everything that they're looking for, and you've answered most of their questions on your website, they're going to check your reviews. Do you have 3? Do you have 5? Do you have 20, 400, 500? Well, what's the consensus on your reputation, right? So this is really important, not just for SEO and ranking and Google ranking, which is really important, but for closing that deal and to maximizing that conversion. These people are interested in knowing who you are, and they're going to look directly at your reviews. So if you don't have a lot of reviews, I recommend a very strong push on getting those reviews in, especially if you've been around a long time. This is really important. And automation. So a lot of you guys are maybe using software to do this, maybe Chirp. If you've got that connected with House Call Pro, Service Titan, Service Fusion, or anything like that, automation can be a big part of closing the deal. How many times do the estimates go stale? Are you following up within a few days? I mean, I have some information on this. I'm going to go through it, but potential prospects need 5 to 7 touch points before they can really make a decision. Generators are a little iffy. I mean, it took me a year to finally close the deal on my generator. I called up my guy and was like, "Hey, listen, that estimate proposal you sent me a year ago, are we still good? Because my wife is really beating me up over it." So it did take me a year, but I still ended up going with him. But there was no follow-up from their end. Maybe if they were pushing and my wife is pushing at the same time, I may have executed a lot sooner. So having automation in place could be a really big game changer for closing those deals that go stale really quickly. So again, a little traffic light system over each one of these. Where are you at with your website conversion? Is your website built to convert? Does it have all the great information? And I'm talking about information about what they're looking for, not we're great, we've been in business for 100 years, we have the best people. Let's talk more about answering their questions and providing them a way to contact you quickly. So that's kind of what you want to dial in on there. And then look at your reputation. How are you doing on reviews? I haven't asked anybody to check in on chat. I wonder if anybody's with me. Am I going too slow? Am I going too fast? Give me something in the chat so I know I'm on point here. Awesome. Christian, thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Yes. Hey, Kevin's one of my clients. Awesome. Great to see you here. Cool. So back to automation. This is a great way to make sure that you're on point with everything. I lost my point, so because I stopped. But anyway, I'm gonna move on to this next point, which is optimize results. And so after you've got your website dialed in, you got that foundation, your organic SEO, you're running ads, you're emailing people, you've got your website great, you got a good reputation, you're messaging people on a regular basis. Now it's time to kind of look back at everything and see how you're doing, right? So you want to look at your total spend. How much money are you spending on a regular basis now for everything marketing? So this is a big piece of building a business. I mean, I know myself that you need to spend money to make money, right? Everybody knows this. I don't have to tell you that, but when it comes to marketing, it can make or break your business. So how much are you spending on marketing and where do you want to be? Are you a $1 million a year company or are you $5 million a year company? Your marketing spend for a conservative spend is right around 4 or 5% of what your overall revenue is. If you want to be mid-range between, okay, let's just keep it afloat and just kind of keep your lead flow going, and which is at 4 or 5%. And a more aggressive approach, you want to be more closer to 10%. And then beyond that, you could be around 13 or 14%. Really high numbers. So you have to understand, though, that in order to really reach those higher numbers, those bigger revenue numbers, you have to spend more money in revenue in your lead flow and your marketing in general. But you want to track that, right? You want to make sure that the money you're spending is returning. So you have to know what your average cost per lead is on a multitude of channels. Okay. So you've got Angie's List where you spend money on a pay per lead. You've got Google Ads, you spend money per pay per lead, and you've got your website and website SEO, which is organic stuff, which you may not have anybody doing anything, but you still have an average cost per lead. So it's important to know these numbers, know these figures, how much you're putting out versus getting back. And ultimately having some kind of a return on investment on everything that you're spending, and if you're hooked up properly with automation and maybe Service Titan and with some of your tracking tools, tracking your calls, tracking the forms, you can really dial this in and project on a very consistent basis. So again, green light that. Make sure that you're being honest with yourself in terms of what you're spending. What's your total spend? How much money you're spending? Are you tracking that? Are you just throwing $2,000 out here, throwing $3,000 out here, spending $500, spending $800? Do you have a monthly process? Is there a strategy? What's the cost on that? Your average cost per lead, you have an idea of what that costs. So in Angie's List, you could be $300-$400 per lead, but that's because Angie's List will deliver you a whole mess of leads that are really not qualified. Google will have you more dialed in, $150-$200 a lead. I'm talking about for generators too, $150-$200 per lead. That's if your Google ads are really sharp. If you've got an expert on Google ads and you're doing it the right way, you could be at $150 per lead for a generator, which profit wise, you're, on a home residential generator, you're profiting maybe $3,000, hopefully more than that, but about $3,000. So $150 for $3,000. Yeah, I think that would make sense. So you want to make sure that you know this stuff and you're kind of dialed in on all of that stuff. So at the very end, we're looking at all these lights and where is everybody in terms of this wheel, right? Ideally, we want to be green all the way around. If you got any reds in here, you know what you need to work on. If you got some yellows, you can maybe do some touch-ups on that as well. So that brings us to this next page in the workbook, the present, future of marketing. So what did we do in the past? What are we doing now? What are we going to be doing in the future that is going to really change things up? So yeah, I just filled it out for you. It's all done. I'm just going to jump over it because I want to time travel back to the beginning, and everybody's about 10 years back, maybe 20 years back, 25 years back. We're all in the yellow pages. There is one avenue or two avenues where we can market, and that's in the yellow pages or sending direct mail. And that doesn't work anymore. So now if you come up a little bit and you're going into 2010, where do the customers go? Well, now they're on the internet. They're looking at Google, they're on Yahoo, they're on Bing, Yelp, whatever it is. 97% at 2010 were now on the internet. So now you have to figure out, okay, now I need to be on the internet. What do I do? Right? So how do you own the internet in your area? And that's kind of like a few things that you had to try back then. There were no real experts on that. So you go to Yellow Pages where you can put some money behind some ads. Yellow Pages and Google will put your ad at the top or on the side. You get some leads, you get some calls, you spend some money. I don't know, you spend $2,000, maybe you make $3,000 off that $2,000. So here we are today. We got the web marketing right. We have a good foundation on their website. And now we're really dialing in on the digital dominance method, right? We got all these pieces that we're running and operating. So this is where we've come from, the yellow book to running those ads to going into just kind of doing a little bit of search engine. And now we've come all this way, and all of these points need to be dialed in to finally get your business where it needs to be. Now, if you were doing all of this up until about 5 years ago, where you could be today with having done all of that and really being consistent with all of your marketing, you could have tripled your annual revenue. So if you start in 2010 or go back to 2010, you're making about $250,000 a year. Now you're making about $1 million. You've expanded from 1 guy to 7 guys, 15 guys, whatever the amount of crews that you're now at. You've increased your trucks, and you have the confidence that you have a consistent and sustainable lead flow. This is kind of what I'm talking about in terms of where you should be right at this point today. So the question is, what would it mean for you? So if you had tripled your revenue right at this point, what would that mean for you today? Where could you be? How many trucks? How much of your crew how many more in your crew would you be? So we're going to try to apply this to your business today. So the next section in this workbook, we're going to look at basically each piece of this. We're going to look at the website, your SEO ranking, your local optimization, your paid search, your social media, your email, your ROI, everything. I'm going to show you how to do this, how to stay on top of it, how to be consistent with your marketing so that you have consistent lead flow. So our first section here, going to get right into this, is your website optimized for conversion? So here's some check boxes that you want to go through all of these items. And we really want to drive home that your website is the hub. This is your foundation for where your marketing needs to be. This is where everybody comes to your website. So, I mean, let's talk about why conversion is so important. If you have 500 visitors per month and you have 5% conversion, you got 25 calls or leads from that 5%, 30% conversion. That's a rough range. We'd like to be at 30%, like to be at more. That means how many people are calling you for estimates that are converting to customers. 30% is a roundabout number. So from that, you get 7.5 booked installs or service contracts from there. You can average 14.5 average transaction in overall revenue. So you have a total revenue of 108,000. Now, in the second scenario, when you have everything dialed in, right, and you have the visitors, the same amount of visitors, but the website is doing much better. You've got the website really dialed in and the conversion tactics are in place. We're seeing a 15% conversion. Get that? Back in this scenario 1, back in the day, or whether you have a crappy website now or not a crappy website, you might see 5% conversion. But if your website is dialed in and you've got all of these conversion tactics in place, I mean, your phone number's at the top, you have a form on your website, the forms work, you have a call to action across the whole website, Your contact information is there, your chat window is there, you're answering the questions they're looking for, you're showing real pictures of your team and your staff and who's actually doing the work. You're going to convert much higher, right? So let's go to 15% conversion, which leads to triple the amount of calls, 30% conversion on those 75 leads. So it's the same conversion rate. You're going to end up with triple the amount of book jobs, same amount of average transaction, which results in triple the amount of revenue. So we want to make sure that you understand that conversion optimization really does have an impact. So here's an old website for Bold Electric. You know, the phone number's got one little number hanging down here, and it was just not good. So, you know, and who's going to read this 2 paragraphs of text? You know, and the website's a little janky, you know, a little hard to kind of comprehend what's on here. I mean, would you convert yourself if you jumped on a website like this? Maybe you go to the next guy, maybe because there's 3 guys on that local pack when you're doing a search. So you're going to go to the next guy and he might have a better website. You're going to end up converting over there instead. So you want to make sure that website is clean, concise. You got a picture of your team. You're showing off the brand that you're primarily working with, whether that's Kohler or Generac or Briggs or whatever, and you're talking to your customer. Power on when it matters most. This is the biggest, you know, trigger for everybody is like, yeah, I need to have power when I need to work during the day. And if there's a storm and I lose power, if I lost power right now, this whole webinar is shut down. So I want to make sure that I have a generator in place. You know, just to show you a quick example, we had 79 phone calls in this 1 month period. We're looking at 477 visitors to the website. So I want to just do the math on those leads, right? So we see the visitors and we have the leads. So we get 477 visitors, 79 calls from those visitors. We have 16.5% conversion rate, always working to increase that number and make that number better. Okay, so here are 12 critical elements to enhance conversion. And Kevin, we're getting into this, okay? I promise you, we're going to touch down on all of this stuff. We're going to make sure that we're dialed in on all of these items. So 1, we want to speak to our target avatar, where all their fears and frustrations. Why should they choose you? So what differentiates you, right? So, and you want to be real. Use authentic images of your team, your trucks, your fleet, your office, out on the job, fixing a generator, anything that you can think of to get on the website. People want to work with people, and they want to see who you are. Use video multimedia elements. I'm not gonna spend too much time on each one of these, but video multimedia elements engages different modalities. You know, if a picture's worth 1,000 words, a video's worth 1,000,000. So a welcome video, videos for each service, videos for explaining why they should contact you versus the competition, video from the owner, that would be ideal. Leverage your social proof, showcase your online reviews, get the basics in order, make sure you get the phone number in the upper right-hand corner, ensure there's a web form for customers, add credibility with authority symbols, Angie's List, Better Business Bureau, whatever. Ensure you have clear calls to action on each page, speak to your customer avatar, use special offers, make sure your website's mobile responsive, use live chat, start giving clients the option to book online. Site speed matters. Your website needs to load fast. There are tools out there that will help identify how fast your site is loading, but quite honestly, those speed tools are a little off. Just make sure that the website loads fast. Check it on a phone, check it on your computer, you know, have somebody else check it, make sure it's just running good, you know, and engage via SMS and phone via marketing automation. A lot of items there. So want to make sure your website is set up to convert visitors to callers. Like I said, all these pieces in place. Here's Bold generators. Here's class generators. Got a form right there on the homepage. All American Electric, AJP Electric. There's their team right there on the front. People love that. And then even if you scroll down a little bit, there's more of the owner in there. It's all about being real and authentic. Here's a little bit about that. You know, this is his crew. Use multimedia. Here's video on, you know, for New Jersey generator contractor. He does a little bit of how to change your oil, how to check your unit, you know. Leverage your social proof, show off your reviews, show off your projects and your case studies and your jobs. You know, our clients say it's best. Here's your testimonials. Have that fed into your website. Use software like Bird Eye will actually port in the software, port in the Google reviews and the testimonials to your website. You want to get that on your homepage, get it on your generator pages. Getting the fundamentals right. Like I said, when you first go to that homepage, you get your phone number right there at the top right corner. You have a button to check out your reviews. You have a form right there on the homepage. You have a picture of your team. You're talking to your avatar, right? Your persona, the people that are looking for you. You want them to know that you're top rated, you're quality focused, and you are priced for them. Make sure it's mobile friendly, okay? Or have a click to call. So when you touch that button with your phone, it's going to pull up this let's call. So some developers miss that. They don't put a link behind the phone number. They just display the phone number. iPhones and Androids will maybe assume that the phone number is clickable. So it'll allow you to click it, but there has to be a link behind that phone number. Have a promo, have a coupon off on here. Special offers are very important. It gets them over the line a little bit if they're really unsure. So maybe the more offers you can have on there, the better. And like I said, mobile friendly. 4.8 billion people now own mobile phones. 3 out of 5 consumers search for local businesses in their smartphone. And Google reports that 40% of mobile consumers turn to a competitor's site after a bad mobile web experience. This is paramount. So like I said, on the mobile phone, the phone number, picture of your team, check out the reviews. You're the generator experts. Make sure that they're seeing what they're looking for right out the gate on the mobile phone, and let it scroll. People are scrolling. They're not clicking. They're not going to read your content. They're going to scroll. So the homepage should have a little bit of a summary of all of the services that you offer. Your high price services, paramount, right? Generator installations, service panel upgrades, EV chargers, full wiring, recessed lighting, whatever the bigger items are. Make sure you're on top for that. That's all in the proper hierarchy. And consider live chat. You should consider live chat. I say consider because not everybody uses live chat, but it could be very, very effective. Only 5 to 10% of visitors to your website will take action via the call, or they use the web form. Actually, we're seeing most people call. They're not using the form anymore. They're just picking up the phone and calling. But if you had a chat, you could potentially convert more leads into customers because they would rather just talk to somebody right then and there. 90% of your visitors leave without calling. 90%. That's a lot. And we know they're in the market for your services and are in your service area. They just hit your website. So we need to make sure that they convert. So when they get to your website, make sure that they got everything. So that's basically what I'm saying here with the live chat too. It's proven to increase leads by an average of 35%. This number is an overall on home service companies, but it's still a pretty big number, pretty important that you have this option, even if it is a smaller percentage. So that's where we're at with website SEO. If you want me to stop, just shoot me in the chat and I'll stop, answer some questions, whatever you want. But we're gonna move right on. Is your website optimized for search engine rankings? Now here's how we get your website to rank. And this is all of these checkboxes will put you where you need to be. And when I say ranking, I'm talking about these bottom 2. Okay, the top 2 here, these are 4 different places that you can show up on the search and results page when people are searching in and around your area, specifically for generators, installations, or whatever it is. So you have the local service ads. This requires a little bit of verification on the owner's end to get this up there, because Google guaranteed will actually refund somebody if something goes wrong. So hard to get up there. Great lead flow, very cheap average cost per lead. I mean, it could be $20, $30 for a lead. If it's not a lead, you get your money back. So that's how Google works. Next month, I'm going to do a webinar specifically on local service ads, how to get it set up, how to operate it, how to optimize it for the best bang for your buck. And then you got the Google ads. These are your sponsored ads. Then you have the local pack. Local pack is the local search results. Google used to show 7. Oops, now it shows 3. And then you have the organic results page. And it used to have multiple pages, but now it's kind of like an infinite scroll. So wherever you show up, when you do a generator service or generator installation in your city, that's kind of what we're talking about with ranking. So we want to make sure that you're in these two spots. So below the ads and below the local service ads, this is 71% of all clicks. When people are doing Google searches, 71% clicking in here. And then 67% of them click only on the first 5 positions. This is where you need to be. You need to be at the top of the local pack and the top of the organic search. So SEO still matters. A lot of people ask, does it even matter? Yes, it matters. Can't rely on pay-per-click alone. When you stop spending that money, you stop getting the leads. So you have to make sure that you've got that foundation of the website built in and you're getting some lead flow from it so that you can layer on your other channels of getting leads. Here are the generator installation keywords that we've been talking about. There is a link at the end of this webinar so you guys can download this. We've spent some extensive amount of time identifying the proper keywords, what people are searching in order to get these ads to appear. We're changing this up on a regular basis. So I'm probably going to run another AdWords webinar in a couple of months because this is actively changing on a weekly basis. We have some generator service keywords too. We also have some keywords built in for electrical panel upgrades, maybe even a little into HVAC. We're getting to mini splits now. Thanks, Kevin. And so we're learning more about that as we go. All right, so here's your keyword download. I have this I have this at the end of the document too, but you can scan that, you can download the keyword list. But this also helps you do some regular searches to see where you rank. This is not just for ads, this is for where you're ranking in the Google SERP. So I want to talk about your website optimization. So you have a strong website with good content and user experience, right? So make sure that it's mobile friendly. It's got all those things that we talked about before, but talking about more about content and ranking. So you want to leverage the multimedia. It improves the on-page time. They're going to stay on the page. They're going to watch more. And the longer people stay on your site, the better, the more ranking points that Google's going to give you. They're constantly monitoring that. Have a page for each of your services, right? Break out your panel upgrades. What are you doing for the panel upgrades? What does it cost? What does it generally cost? What kind of panels are you using? You know, what kind of team do you have specifically for that? What's the turnaround time? So a whole page just for panel upgrades, whole page for recessed lighting, for generator installation, for generator service separate, generator maintenance plans separate. So that's 3 pages that you should write out on your website. And on these pages too, include some locality too, include some of the areas that you're doing this work in. Google will help get you on that map if you've got those keywords dialed in. Like I said, pages for the cities that you serve. So generator installations in Wayne, New Jersey. Talk about some of the jobs that you've done in Wayne, New Jersey. Talk about the generators themselves. Talk about the brands that you're working with in Wayne, New Jersey, and kind of keeping on repeating that. There's a formula for that. I may actually have a webinar just for how to write that content. We haven't set that up yet. So you need content and use software like Nearby Now, right, to check in at the locations. It's got heat map data to the city pages. I know a lot of people have spoken to Real Work Labs. I want to take a second and just say Real Work Labs does the same thing that Nearby Now does. Real Work Labs is very expensive. So they do have some features that are nicer. Their user interface is nicer, but very expensive. They lock you in for a year, and Nearby Now does not do that. So if you guys have talked to Real Work Labs, or if you haven't, I would highly recommend Nearby Now over them. If you already have it, great. You know, it's still good software, but the two have the same ranking, the same kind of ranking, the same amount of ranking points you get from Nearby Now and Real Work Labs coming from Google. And what this is too, just for the people that don't know, when you're out on a job, your technician's out on a job, they take a picture of the generator, they install that, do a quick little 20 kW installation in Wayne, New Jersey, and then it posts back to your website, the picture, the location, the description, the city, state, and zip. This is all very, very heavy ranking rich content. So unique content every page. Don't duplicate anything with your service pages. Don't duplicate anything with your local landing pages. They do need to be unique and unique enough so that Google knows that they are 2 different pages. Make sure that it's properly built. keyword in the title and the H1 tags, H2 tags, paragraph tags. And nowadays we've got header tags, navigation tags, we've got body tags, things like that, that article tags, things like that, that Google is really looking for in a website build out. WordPress doesn't do all of it. It all does depend on your developer. So meta descriptions, they sell the click, because when you're sharing a page, that meta description is right there in the body of that link. And it's also on the local search engine, right? So on the organic results, people are seeing that meta description tag right there on your results. So make sure that that's all set up right. Name, address, phone number, make sure it's in the footer. A blog with ongoing updates, that's syndication with back to Google and to other pages, maybe social media. That's great backlinking, citation linking. Focus on your page speed. That's all on-site optimization. So what we want to talk about now is off-page SEO. Want to claim and optimize your Google business. I'm not going to go through all of this as slow as I did the last one. Get lots of citations across the web. That's backlinking from other areas. Build up online reviews. You can use tools like Bird Eye, Review Buzz, Customer Lobby, things like that that can help reach out to those customers and get those reviews. Very, very important. Build authoritative backlinks so you can have a baseball team, make sure that the town's got a website, links back to your company website, that regardless if people are seeing those links and clicking back to your website, you're still getting ranking points for having those links out there. So a strategic content syndication. So when you write a blog post, link it to your social media, link it to those other pages, have other people share it, that kind of thing. So this is also in the workbook. You have your on website optimization items, your Google profile items, your website content, and your signals. That's all for content creation. So now the next section here is your company optimized to rank on Google Maps. We're going to start moving quick now. These sections are getting smaller, I promise. All right. So is your company optimized to rank on Google Maps? This is what we're talking about in claiming your optimized Google business profile listing. I know that you guys know this. I know you have this set up properly, but you want to make sure that you've got access to this. Make sure that you have access to it through your Google account. Make sure that your marketing agency isn't the sole owner of this. But make sure that your company name matches your company name on the Google profile. Things like trying to sneak a keyword into your company name on the Google profile can actually hurt you than help you. Make sure your web address is on there, creates a good inbound link. Use a local number. So 800 numbers doesn't really do what Google wants it to do. Google wants it to be a local number. It is a local business profile. So try to use a local number on there. Have it match your website. You don't need an 800 number. That's definitely an old school approach. Use a local address. Don't use PO boxes or UPS store, and upload photos to the Google profile, right? As many as possible. Personal photos, you and your family, pictures of the staff, pictures doing the work. All of that will help connect and resonate with people and leverage that in your map listing. And list your hours of operation and services offers. Go through all the steps in that Google profile and you'll see what I'm talking about. So claiming your Google profile, just wanted to show you what that looks like in case you haven't seen that or you don't know what that looks like. When you're doing a search for yourself, you should have this access, right? It should say, you manage this page and have all of these different items in here that help you manage that. This is a little different than the way it used to be. When Google had Google Plus, it had it had a whole dashboard for this, but it doesn't have that anymore. This is how it operates. This is a little close up on all the features that you could do. Your profile, you can read and respond to reviews, read and respond to each review. And when you respond, don't respond with a cookie cutter response. Thank Jimmy. It was great working with him. Glad we were able to get through the permit process, something about the whole process in there to help talk to future prospects. Messages, photos, you can look at your performance. There's a whole bunch of things you can do with Google Profile. So very important. This is a little bit about their performance. It'll show you how many people view the business, gives you a good sense of, what your Google Profile is doing. If you have a special tracking phone number in Google Profile, you can actually track the amount of visitors and callers, maybe even leads that are coming in specifically just through that profile. And it's a big number. Here's what it looks like to upload photos. Very simple. You just drag a photo in, add a description, and post it. Leverage Google Posts by posting at least once every 90 days or so. So those posts will come off once in a while. You want to respond to those reviews, like I said, answer questions that get posted. And second thing we're going to focus on is build citations and consistency with your name, address, and phone. So we have all these different local search sites coming in from all over the place. So you have to make sure that you're everywhere. How do you log in and create an account and make sure all this stuff is everywhere? There are some tools to do that, because there's a tremendous amount on there. So a consistent reference of company name, address, and phone number, this helps with your ranking again. So Google will check to make sure that it's consistent everywhere. You want to have limited, duplicate, or incorrect business information. So if you find your company out there and it's wrong, you want to make an effort to fix that. Here's some really good tools for that. Bright Local, Advice Local, White Spark, Moz Local. Yext is a good one. Yext is a little expensive. We use Moz Local. You can actually go to this link, type in your company name, street number, zip code, and it will actually push out where you might have some inconsistency. There's some data aggregators out there that will actually automatically grab your company information and push it out across all of these platforms. So it could be wrong. So you want to make sure that this stuff is 100% on point. And that software from Moz will actually show you where it's suffering. So Foursquare, your listing isn't even there. White Pages, your phone number's wrong. Facebook, your phone number's wrong. So it'll tell you this kind of stuff. And Moz actually has a software to push this out and keep it updated across the board. Get lots of real reviews. I can't stress this enough. This is a game changer for some of the older guys that have less amount of reviews because it was never really just a focus. How do you do that when it was never a focus? You have to get up with the times. You have to look to the future of marketing and make sure that you're constantly evolving. So you can leverage tools to request a review after every service call. You can leave a printed review card. You can train your techs to plant the seed, deliver a world-class experience, right? Make a call after the service to walk them through that review process, build reviews and recognition into your company culture. And you could use some of these apps to feed directly in through your service software, whether it's Service Titan or House Call Pro or whatever it is. You can use Nearby Now to send out an email after those jobs are completed to say, how was our service? Would you mind giving us a review, a link to your Google profile, get that review from those customers. Very important. These are some of the other companies you can use for that. This is a little bit of how it helps. So improves keyword rankings in the local map pack as there are multiple signals tied to the review. Whether you're doing a great job or what it was that you installed or serviced, how you were when you were out there, definitely increases the number of conversions that occur when you have a 4.0 rating, all the way, with 5-star reviews. Glowing reviews become marketing and link opportunities. Take a really great review, slap that on a picture of your team and put that up on your social media and promote that. Put it on your website too. And it makes a local business appear more credible to current and potential customers. Obviously, this is where you help pull people over the line that are doing that extra research. They want to make sure they're choosing the right company. Okay, the next section on there. I must be doing good. Nobody's got any questions. It's great. Everything under the bus here. Are you taking advantage of paid online marketing? So this is a little bit about your Google ads, right? And I've got this pyramid to show you what the foundation is. You cannot just run Google ads. You can't work on that alone. You have to have this organic foundation, your website in place, your Google profile, some great content on the site, some great pictures of your team, getting some good reviews. This is what you must have. This is the the baseline, right? And then you can layer on some Google ads. This is the next step. After you've got a solid foundation, you can do Google ads because you're going to put money out there for people to come to you. You want to make sure that that foundation is in place. From there, you put in some retargeting automation. Try to pull them over the line with extra advertising, email marketing, and some automation to help close those estimates, get that prospect over the line. And then you can layer on some paid directories, Angie's List, pay per lead, things like that. And then you can get into your branding marketing, right? You can start promoting your brand on social ads, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, that kind of thing. That's later down the road, but I would highly recommend you get these three dialed in first before getting into any of that. So this is just a really good visual to show you kind of what the priorities are. Now I'll talk a little bit about local service ads. This is Google guaranteed, gets you right at the top. Highly recommend that we do this. All of our generator guys. It is tricky because Google doesn't have a generator category, but they have restore power is one of their categories. But you can't just click restore power. The lead will it'll never show. So unless you're just doing generators, but if you're doing other work, electrical work, there's a whole host of other electrician categories that you can work in there, including restore power. It brings, generator, searching for generator installations brings up that Google guaranteed local service ad every time. And that is the top. So where's the best place to be on local search when people are searching? The top. All right, so Google ads, again, local service ads, then Google ads, then your SERP. You want to make sure that your Google ads have a special page. Even your local service ads have a special page for that. People clicking on ads are more intent to buy. So want to bring them to a page that says, hey, I got a coupon for you. I can do a free estimate. We can do 100% financing. Just fill out this form, chat with us or call us, and we'll get started. So you want to have a special landing page just for that. A little bit about why most of these campaigns fail. You set up only one ad group for all of your services, right? One ad, electrical, generators, emergency services. These keywords are going to start competing with each other. It's not a good situation. You end up spending more money than you should, and your ads are not optimized for the best click-through rates. So don't use specific text ads and landing pages for groups of keywords. You want to specify them. I'll get into that. There's no strong call to action or offer on that landing page. Like I said, the landing page needs to be dialed into what they're clicking on. So if you run one ad for electrical services, panel upgrades, and generators, where are you sending them? Probably to your homepage. That's a mistake too. So this is the bad way to do it. It's one campaign with all of these keywords in here that go to your homepage, right? How do you structure it? Your campaign is to be broken up into smaller groups targeting the various services. Okay, so we have a campaign for generator installation, and then an ad group for standby, generator service, generator repair, OEM warranty renewals, inspection services, different ad groups for each one so that you can identify specific keywords for each one of those, and do one separate for electrical services and an ad group for each of those. And each of those have their keywords. And then you want to also run a brand campaign in case somebody's looking for you. Make sure that you're on top, because some of your competitors will also include you in their ads so that when they're searching for you, they're going to get them. So just make sure that your brand is also running some ads too. Like I said, we have the form on that landing page. We have a coupon. We've got the free estimate. We've got over 70 reviews, 100% financing. This page is designed to, pull them over that line. There's no navigation up here. There's no clickable navigation to go anywhere else. We kind of want to get them. The only other place to go is to fill out this form or call. So landing pages are really great to have, and it helps you track the ROI on that ad spend as well. And like I said, don't even think about spending another penny until you have conversion tracking in place. And there's a lot you can do with conversion tracking. Track the phone numbers, have a different phone number on those ad landing pages, have a different phone number on your website, have a different phone number on the Google profile, so that you can track each one and look at the performance of each one. This is where optimizing those results comes in, so you see, wow, we're getting all these leads from the ads and not much from the Google profile, or vice versa, getting a lot of leads from the website and the Google profile, not much from the ads. So you know where to focus some more of your energy. Be active on social media. This piece of it, quick, but you want to just be active, because those people that are going to go and look for your reviews are also going to go to your social channels and see where you're at. have a page in place, get some followers, make sure that you're sharing some great content, not just, hey, we're great, did an install over here in Wayne, 20 kW in a home. They now live without the possibility of losing power forever. Another post where you can share, great customer testimonial. Thank you so much. Tag them or whatever. We're promoting a baseball team. And this way, and share those links around with the town. There's their mom groups, there are town groups in and around your area. So a lot you can do with social media. More repeat business and more referrals. That's really just where that all comes from. And then leverage email marketing. So like I said back in the beginning, is you have this captive audience already. They were your customers once before, and you want them to be customers again. So use email marketing. There are some very inexpensive tools out there. I know you have the database to do that. ServiceTitan has new software where you can send those emails. Might not be new, but all of those guys have that ability to send out emails, newsletters, stay top of mind. I would recommend maybe once every 2 months on a newsletter, and another email before each season. Make sure your generator's clear of debris, things like that. That can help people remember you. And then not just email marketing, but marketing automation, email automation, and marketing automation. So, is lead flow really the problem? So if you've got green lights on those first two sections, your website and your conversion, you're driving leads and you're converting, but you're still not getting customers. So this is where you want to focus some energy, right? So you want to figure out, is lead flow really the problem? So here's the problem, what I'm talking about. 50 to 60% of inbound leads leave unconverted. 90% of web forms fail to convert. This is after they filled out the form. And then you've reached out and you've called them, or the lead goes stale, you send an estimate, lead goes stale. The reason why is that leads are not followed up with within 15 minutes. They go cold after 15 minutes, completely stale, like they've gone somewhere else. The average customer has to be followed up with 5 to 7 times before you can actually book them for an in-home estimate, anything like that. So when that lead comes in, you have to reach out to them right away. Get a message to them saying, hey, we got your request. We're going to reach out to you within whatever, or call them right away, and then after you have that initial conversation, or if you don't get through, you need a way to communicate with them. Send them a text message. Hey, I just tried to just tried you. I know you're interested in the generator. Thanks for reaching out, that kind of thing. Please give us a call as soon as possible. Send another email that next morning, and try to have some automation in place so that it's easy to forget. So, and you guys are busy, so make sure that there's something in place that's constantly reaching out to these prospects. Today's customers prefer to interact via text message versus phone. It's not the worst thing in the world to send a text message right away. There's a few things you can do. You leverage marketing automation to follow up with web forms within those first 2 minutes, like I said, of that submission, and then automate the follow-up so that every prospect is touched 5 times and able to engage via two-way text messaging. So there's software for that too. You can use, I don't know if ServiceTitan's getting into it, but there's other service like Chirp, Go High Level is what we're using. And also you can use email marketing too. You send an email after every service call requesting a review. Send an email a few days after that service, asking them to engage on social media. Hey, just check, would you mind getting into our page on social media, follow us, and maybe make a comment or something like that. Send out a monthly email. I don't say, it says monthly. I say once every other month, a newsletter, main top of mind, drive more repeat referral business, ask for referrals, ask for reviews, things like that. Not the worst thing, but here's just an idea of how the automation flow should work. From that initial lead and that initial correspondence and booking that meeting and setting up that estimate, this should all happen right after that, right? So you send a text message, you send an email. Here's the 3 messages that you send to them until you hear back. So there should be system in place that when they reach out and they make that connection, it stops. And then you reset them. Maybe they have a question. Oh, I have a question about my estimate. Is this included? Yeah, it is. All right, I'll get back to you. They should get put back into this system. Make sure they're being followed up with. Otherwise, you could lose it. And then, like I said, tracking in place, gauge your ROI. We're a little bit over an hour. hope everybody's still here. Tracking in place and gauge your ROI. There are tools in place. Have a dashboard. Watch traffic trends with Google Analytics. Track your online ranking for important keywords. You can even do the searches yourself. Consider call tracking phone number on the site in graphics only or via JavaScript. There's some things in place that can automatically change your number, phone number pools, things like that. Put a CRM or some other tracking tool in place to track lead sources, build them out. So Service Titan does some of this. Go high levels of CRM. HubSpot's a CRM. The spreadsheets they're great if you got a good process for it, but the future of marketing is in a particular CRM that's got automation built in. So quick review. You guys all have this checklist. Make sure that your website's on point. Make sure it's optimized for local search engines and getting ranked. Make sure that you're ranking on Google Maps in that local pack. Make sure that you're taking advantage of paid online marketing. You're doing social media. Don't spread yourself too thin. You don't need to do Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn. Just do one or two where you can spend the time, where you have the energy. You don't have to spread yourself real thin on that. Leverage email marketing, do the newsletters, send those, whether you think you need to or not. I promise you that will always be a good effort. And then have some tracking in place. Know where you're spending that money. Know what's coming back. So present and future marketing, here's that page in that workbook. You can take a look at those things. The future of marketing. So a few things that I want to just point out that we're looking at, that we're seeing coming around, the shift from a phone call to SMS and online booking for conversion. That's getting big. These younger generations are more interested in text messaging than they are email and phone calling. I know you guys know that. Prospects' preference for live two-way text messaging on your site and social profiles. This is really important to have that two-way text messaging and on social channels, also Google, Facebook Messenger, things like that. The increase in popularity of these new platforms, especially for brand awareness, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, these are growing platforms for businesses like this. The average age is well over 30 years old. Companies who embrace automation, which is speed to lead, will have a competitive advantage. Make sure that you're doing that. And the true winners of marketing in the future will understand the need to convert a one lead into a repeat buyer that uses you again and again. I think you guys know that, but you have to create systems in place so you don't forget to reach out to them. So it's all automated. This is all part of, leaving you guys free to run the company, take days off, make sure that your crews are doing what they need to be doing, and the prospects are being followed up with. Tracking must shift from simple call tracking, projected ROI, to real-time ROI tracking based on source by syncing with your dispatch platform. So whether you're hooking up Service Titan with this particular CRM dashboard so that you can better optimize where to spend that money and where to move money around. If you're spending too much money over an Angie's List, you want to move that into into your Google Ads. Make sure that you're spending money on your SEO. Make sure that you're creating content on a regular basis, because that's where the best bang for your buck is. SEO is not as expensive as running ads, is not as expensive as paying per lead. Here is an SEO checklist. I'll send you guys all an email with some of these downloadable, but the SEO checklist has a little bit more about on-page SEO, the Google profile, ongoing content. There's more there's some more information on the ranking points, what works, what doesn't, what's good, what's bad. I have a Google Maps resource. You can download this. This will give you more insight into what you need to do to rank on the map. And reach out, shoot me a message, or you can fill out the form on this acceleration session page. I'm doing free acceleration sessions for anyone that is interested in learning a little bit more about where they stand with their competitors, where you rank with your competitors. A lot of little competitors are coming up. Generator super centers are coming up. Bigger companies are starting to swallow up the little companies. But if you already have a good ranking in place, but you're a little bit unsure where the competitor is, reach out to me, fill out this form. We'll do a little bit of due diligence. We'll look at where you can improve. We'll show you a lot of room for improvement and show you exactly some of the steps that you need to take to better your lead flow. Ideally, we want a consistent amount of lead flow so that you can get So you can run these dials up and down as you need more leads, and you keep the phone ringing and have those trucks running, and then we'll tell you a little bit about what we do. We do this day in and day out for our generator service companies across the United States. So we know a little bit about a lot of markets and a little bit about what everybody's doing in a lot of different spaces, specifically in the generator industry. We do not work in any other area focus. So that's it. And wow, an hour, 10 minutes. Thank you very much for coming. I hope this added a lot of value to what you guys are looking for. That's the point. It's a free webinar. I do one every month. I'm trying to get a podcast off the ground, so I may reach out to you to jump on my podcast. We're going to start doing that specifically for generator dealers. It's a big community. So that's it. Thank you everybody for coming. I'll hang out for a second in case anybody has any questions. Just throw it in the chat. Happy to respond to anybody that's got any kind of question or anything. All right. See you everybody. Thank you.